Have you ever wondered how an airline can offer you a flight for a price that's sometimes lower than a taxi ride to the airport? You're not alone. The moment you see that coveted figure with one or two zeros at the end on your screen, the same trigger goes off in your brain as when you see a shelf of promotional items in a supermarket. Grab it now or you'll lose out. Low-cost carriers aren't just cheap airlines. They're a brilliant social experiment and a financial puzzle where your thirst for travel collides with cold, hard accounting. They ushered in an era of democratic flying, turning the dream of visiting another city or country from a luxury into a plan for the upcoming weekend. But as in any fairy tale, there's a catch, and we're not just talking about money. So what's really hiding behind those enticing prices? Are you ready for your next flight to turn into a quest for economic survival? Let's find out. In this article, we won't just bash low-cost carriers. We will dissect them piece by piece to understand who really comes out on top. You for saving on the ticket, or them for making a profit on every little thing you do. Fasten your seatbelts. Let's begin.
Picture this, America 1949. While trendsetters wore wide-leg trousers and rock and roll was taking off, a small airline called Pacific Southwest Airlines, PSA, quietly started a revolution. They used former military planes and sold tickets for $9.99. How? It was brilliant in its simplicity. They cut costs everywhere. The pilot might help load baggage after landing, and the flight attendants would clean the cabin in 5 minutes between flights. This wasn't the low-cost model we know today, but it was the first crack in the stereotype that flying was a luxury. They undercut competitors' prices by nearly half. But the real game changer, the one that flipped the industry on its head, came 2 decades later. In 1971, Southwest Airlines entered the scene. After landing, they didn't just cut costs, they created a new religion. Their mantra can be boiled down to 3 rules. One type of plane, only the Boeing 737. Imagine, every mechanic knows it inside out, every flight crew knows the seat layout, the savings on training, parts, and logistics are colossal. Fly between secondary airports. Cheaper fees, no runway traffic, the plane gets back in the sky faster, earning money again. No frills. A free meal? Sorry, this isn't a restaurant. You pay only to get from point A to point B. Everything else is extra. And you know what? It worked. People voted with their wallets, thrilled at the chance to fly more often. While America was flying by these new rules, Europe, with its strictly regulated fares, remained a fortress. The walls only began to crumble in the 1990s, and this is where the real magic begins. Enter Ryanair and EasyJet. Their strategy was absurdly simple. Sell a ticket for the price of a cup of coffee. A persistent rumor says Ryanair's first tickets went for €1. Truth or a clever marketing legend to create buzz, it doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that it permanently branded into passengers' minds. Ryanair means cheap. And everything beyond the flight itself, food, baggage, seat selection, became a paid add-on. The plane transformed into a flying marketplace. But there was also a true cult phenomenon in low-cost history, adored by the youth of the 60s. Meet Iceland's Loftleiðir. This company became the first transatlantic low-cost carrier, offering flights between the U.S. and Europe with a stopover in Reykjavik at dumpster fire prices. It was immediately nicknamed the hippie airline. Imagine, you're a young hippie, and for small change, you can get to London or Amsterdam. It was the dream. They proved that cheap flights weren't just about short hops, but could connect continents.
Here are the puzzle pieces that make up a budget airline's real revenue picture. Ever notice that a low-cost carrier's planes are all twins? This isn't an aesthetic choice, but a primary cost-cutting tool. Standardization. One type of aircraft, like the Boeing 737-800 used by Ryanair, means all pilots and cabin crew are interchangeable. There's no need for separate simulators and instructors for different models. Spare parts savings. The airline buys the same parts in bulk. like a fast food chain buying burger buns. Fleet maneuvering. Giants like Ryanair order planes directly from the manufacturer with huge discounts, and after the warranty period, sell them off, sometimes even at a profit. So the plane not only earned money in the sky, but also turned out to be a profitable investment upon sale. While a plane is on the ground, it's not earning money. It's only spending it on parking fees. That's why low-cost carriers have turned them into perpetual motion machines. Time is money. The standard turnaround time between flights is 25 to 50 minutes. The crew works to a script choreographed to the second. Cleaning, disembarking, even at a boarding, refueling. This allows a single plane to be in the air for up to 14 to 18 hours a day. The more flights, the lower the share of fixed costs per ticket. This is where the real magic begins. The basic ticket often only partially covers the cost of jet fuel. All the profit is hidden in the little extras you buy along the way. Baggage. This is a gold mine. The fee for an overweight bag can be comparable to the price of another ticket. Seat selection. Want to sit with friends or by the window? Pay up. This is pure margin because to the airline, all seats are the same. Food, airport check-in, priority boarding. All of this turns a passenger into a walking wallet. A key fact. In 2017, with an average ticket price of 41 euros, Ryanair carried 120 million passengers and posted a net profit of $1.6 billion. A significant portion of that sum came not from ticket sales, but from fees for a backpack, a chosen seat, and a cup of coffee on board. What if airlines are also paid to bring passengers to them? All of this sounds like science fiction, but it's reality. Luring tourists. Many regional and holiday destination airports are desperate for passenger traffic. They are willing to pay low-cost carriers for every tourist they bring, structuring it as advertising subsidies or service discounts. Offsetting losses. It's these subsidies that often allow airlines to sell tickets at rock-bottom prices, sometimes even below the actual cost of the flight. They lose on the ticket, but they profit from the airport and the ancillary services.
And here's a little-known hack from the airlines themselves: saving through silence. Some low-cost carriers have seriously considered doing away with PA announcements. Why? Less strain on the onboard systems means cheaper maintenance. Plus, it saves those precious seconds needed to turn the plane around for its next flight. And yes, those long treks on a bus from the terminal to the plane aren't about giving you an airfield tour. It's a cold, hard calculation. Every jet bridge costs rental money and time. Walking or a crowded bus ride with 50 other passengers is faster and cheaper. But the real question is, onboard systems, how far are they willing to go? Industry insiders have seriously floated ideas like vertical standing seats, imagine a bar stool with a seatbelt, or even pay-to-use toilets. For now, these are just concepts, but they perfectly illustrate the low-cost philosophy. Comfort is not the carrier's obligation, but an option you can buy.
Your ticket was so cheap because you were flown somewhere other than where you thought. Here's how the trick works. Think of airports as a network of restaurants. They're the central ones, with Michelin stars, where you pay extra just for entry and a table. And then there are the modest joints on the outskirts, grateful for any customer. Low-cost carriers are those diners who consciously choose the highway truck stop. Why are they okay with this? Simple. Money. Airport fees are the #1 enemy of a cheap ticket. For every landing, parking spot, use of a jet bridge, and even every passenger that passes through the terminal, the airline pays the airport. At major hubs like Heathrow or Frankfurt, that bill runs into tens of thousands of dollars. The solution? Fly where they pay you. A little-known airport that's been sitting half empty for years is willing to do almost anything to attract an airline. It offers discounts of up to 80% on all fees, and sometimes even pays the low-cost carrier for every passenger it brings. It's like getting a discount for bringing friends to an empty bar. And what does the passenger get? An adventure. Did your flight land in Beauvais instead of Paris? In Bergamo instead of Milan? In Katowice instead of Krakow? That's not an air traffic controller error. It's a planned saving. The trip into the city becomes a separate mission that often costs more than the flight itself. Taxi, bus, another train. Be prepared to spend an extra 20 to 50 euros and 2 to 3 hours of your time. Remember this the next time you're tempted by a $9.99 ticket. Jet bridges? What jet bridges? Why pay for the boarding tunnel when they can politely invite you to walk across the tarmac? Saving on the small details is a major victory for a low-cost carrier. Those 5 a.m. or midnight flights aren't a conspiracy against your sleep. It's just that airport fees are at their lowest during those hours. Your inconvenience is just another line item in their savings plan.
Low-cost airlines exploit a cognitive glitch known as anchoring. Your brain latches on to the first number it sees, that tantalizing 9.99 euro anchor, and unconsciously measures everything else against it. An extra 15 euro for an aisle seat? It's practically nothing compared to the original price. And just like that, you're psychologically committed to the purchase, terrified of missing out. By the time you reach the final payment page, after adding fees for the carry-on bag you actually need, the airport check-in you can't skip, and the seat selection to avoid being stuck in middle seat 35F, the total cost can easily triple or quadruple. But your brain is still anchored to that initial number, making you feel like you've scored a win. And do you want to know the real secret behind these giveaway tickets? Industry insiders confirm that giants like Ryanair and Wizz Air might genuinely sell the first 1 to 5 tickets on a flight for the price of a coffee. This isn't a business model. It's a PR stunt that buys them tens of thousands of positive social media mentions and news headlines. Those few lucky tickets create a buzz and an illusion of accessibility, while the other 189 seats on the plane are sold at standard low-cost fares. And now you're in the trap. A countdown timer appears on the website, and a banner flashes next to your selected flight. Only 2 seats left at this price. It's a classic pressure tactic designed to eliminate hesitation. Promo codes, limited-time sales, pop-up notifications, this entire digital theater has one goal: to make you click pay before you have a chance to open your calculator. But the most elegant, almost cynical trick is hidden in the terms of the cheapest fare. That incredibly profitable ticket is actually a single-use lottery with your plans. Changed your mind? Refunds are usually impossible. Made a typo in your name? Get ready for an admin fee of 110 to 160 euros, which can be more than the cost of the flight itself. This ticket trap turns your every move into a revenue stream for the airline.
This model isn't bad or good, it just works. And it changed the world, giving us a global pass that was once a privilege for the few. Today, anyone has a chance to see the ocean from 10 kilometers up, even if it means flying without a suitcase and a sandwich. So next time you're planning a flight, answer this question honestly. What matters more to you, the price or the predictability? There are no bad tickets, only wrong expectations. Low-cost airlines gave us an unprecedented freedom to move, but like any freedom, it requires responsibility. To read the fine print, to do the math, and to accept the rules of the game.